It's wild how in 2025 you can walk into a luxury store and drop thousands and still feel like you don't belong. Today, I'm sharing a few of my worst luxury shopping experiences. I'm not talking about just bad service, I'm talking about the moments that had me feeling like, why even bother? This isn't just a rant. I'm telling these stories because I know a lot of us, or a few of us, have felt this way or have had these experiences, and it's about time we talk about it. Hi everyone, my name's Abby and welcome to Design for Growth, where we make everyday moments extraordinary through fashion, lifestyle, and personal growth. So from fashionistas to hostesses, join me on this journey to elevate our lives. It's giving self-love. Let's grow together. The other day, I was talking to my friend Celeste. Hi, Celeste. And we were just swapping horror stories of shopping experiences that we've had, and it gave me the idea for this video. Usually, luxury shopping should be like a fun experience. Part of the luxury is the experience of going into the store or getting the item, and it's kind of diminishes a big part of the experience if you're not treated with like common respect or like dignity. I'm going to tell 4 stories of horrible experiences I've had, and I want to hear about your experiences. Let me know if you've had something like this happen to you, or if you know someone who's had this experience. I want to talk about it. I want to open up the comments and hear all that you all have to say. Okay, let's get into these stories. This takes place in Las Vegas. It was a couple of years ago. I was staying at the Bellagio and they have an Hermès there. And I don't know, I've always been really intimidated up to that point to go into Hermès. And so before even going in, I had to have the mental battle with myself of like, oh, should I go? Should I not? Oh, will they sell me something? Will they not? Like, will they think I want a bag? Will they not? Like, it's just too much. It really, really is. And so after doing the mental gymnastics and the back and forth on if I should go, I just really wanted to go in and see if I could buy a scarf to commemorate the trip. I summoned the courage to go in, and oh my goodness, I remember standing at the door and they assigned me this essay, and she was like, you know, she was fine. She wasn't the friendliest essay, but like, she said, hi, welcome to Hermès. And I was like, oh, hi, it's my first time here. And I am really excited. I just want to look at some scarves or some twillies. I'm not sure exactly what I want to get, but can I start there? And she's like, yeah, okay, cool. And so she pulls out the scarves that they had, and they really had like not even that many options, to be honest. The inventory was really low, and I remember just wanting something that's like neutral, something that, you know, in the browns and creams and stuff like that, so I can just to match my style a little bit more, so I know that I can get my cost per wear. And the ones that they had were, don't get me wrong, they were beautiful, but they were just super bright colors, and the artwork was like really like trippy, and it was beautiful, but it wasn't what I was looking for. And so I found one that I was like, maybe I can make this work. You know, when you're like, I want to get something, and you're forcing yourself to try to get something. And so I turned to the essay and I'm like, hey, how much is this? And I remember she was like, oh yeah, it's like 770 or something like that. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And like, this is where things got a little weird, because the mentality or like her attitude just completely changed. It went from like, okay, hi, welcome to Hermès, I'm doing my job, to, I don't know if you can afford this. I'm not even being dramatic. It was that like apparent of a switch. And I remember after asking the price, I was like, I don't know if this is the right one. And she is like, oh, we also have these twillies. Maybe that's better and more in your price range. And I'm like, I didn't even tell you my price range. Girl, Stop being weird, okay? And so she gives me the box of the tray of Twillies, and then she's like, I have to go help this other customer. And the vibe around it was like, I have to go and help customers that are actually gonna buy something. And I was just like, am I going crazy? Like, I'm already nervous to go into the store and try to buy something because it's just an intimidating place. And then on top of it, to like, for this woman to just kind of like talk down to me like that. In the moment, I was just like, what's happening? And I'm like looking at the Twillies and the scarves, and I'm like, if I don't buy something, she's gonna think it's gonna prove her right, like I couldn't afford something. But if I do buy something, I feel like I'm being pressured into buying something because of her bad attitude. And like, of course, I was like, Abby, you gotta do it for the Black people. Let her know that Black people can afford luxury too. And so I forced myself to get this Twilly that I honestly did not even like. I can't even remember the color of it. I just remember just grabbing it, being like, I'll take this. I go to the counter. I was like, hi, I think I'm ready to buy this. And she looks at me and she's like, do you have an account with us? And I'm like, no, this is my first time in a Hermès store and I'm really excited. And she's like, okay, it'll be $300. And I'm like, okay. And then I paused and I was like, actually, this is my first time in the store. Is it possible to create a profile? And she's like, sure. Hands me an iPad. I fill out my information, and then she's like, it'll be $300. And I was like, okay. And so I swipe and she gives me my package, and I like run to my room. I run to my room because I was like, I need to decompress. I need to analyze like what just happened here, because why did I buy this thing that I did not want to buy? One, what the heck was this woman's attitude? Two, and like three, why am I so stressed right now? Why? After sitting down and really thinking about it, I felt as if like it was already a lot of mental energy to get myself hyped up to go into the Hermès, because I was afraid of like, I don't know, like the snootiness. Then to have the essay just be like, when I asked for the price of the scarf, for her to automatically just assume it's because $770 is like too much money and that a Twilly would better fit my price range, was just really, how dare you? How dare you? It's just so weird to assume something like that, or especially just to say that to a customer. All the interactions with her after that, like leaving to help someone else, and that's okay, but like just the way that like she walked away, it just gave off the air of like, you can't afford anything here, you're wasting my time, why even bother? And that is not how I want to feel when I'm in a store. Third, like the idea of her being like mean, and I've heard like essays doing this before, but I've never had that experience where essays are mean to you and to kind of talk down to you, and psychologically that makes you want to buy the product. And I definitely was a fool, and I actually did fall for it and bought something, but after I bought it, I instantly regretted it, and I like 1,000%, I was like, I'm returning this because of this horrible experience that I just had. I never want to be in a position where I have to prove myself to someone that I don't know or who doesn't know me. And so I kind of like promised myself, like, yo, you're never doing that again. You're gonna walk up into all these stores with your head held high, and you're going to buy what you want to buy and leave what you don't need. I just feel like essays need to understand that like, you work for the brand, you are not necessarily, like, you don't necessarily own the brand, like, you are working, it's a job, it's not an extension of your personality. And also brands need to understand that like, that type of psychological like warfare low-key is not going to get you long-term customers. I think the lesson here for me is, even when you can afford it, luxury doesn't always feel accessible because of the mind games that some brands play and how essays treat you. Seriously, do better. For this next story, imagine it's the year 2021 and I have just seen this shopping blog by Cassie Thorpe, and it features the Fendi First. This is the fall winter bag of my dreams and I must have it. Fast forward to the weekend, me and my partner, I'm like, honey, we're getting into the car, we're going to Fendi, I gotta have this bag. So he drives me there and drops me off and he goes to park. He'll meet me in the store later. Like, I'm just literally on cloud nine because I'm so excited about this bag. And I haven't been that excited about a bag in a very long time. I walk into the Fendi, they assign me an essay. I want to say she had to be like older than me. She had to be like in her 40s. She was like, hi, I'll be your essay. And I'm like, hi, oh my goodness, I'm just here to look for some bags. And I'm super excited and cheery. And she is like not having it. Like, I'm walking with her and I'm like, oh, can you tell me more about this bag? Does it come in different colors and stuff? Like, I'm slowly making my way to the Fendi First and she is like barely giving me anything, like any information. I'll ask her like, oh, what's the biggest size in this bag? And she'll be like, I'd have to check. It's just very cold, very short responses, just super uninterested in me as a customer. I was like, okay, maybe she's just having a bad day. That's fine. We all have those days. I'm not gonna let her kill my vibe. I'm here to get the Fendi First bag. Maybe like 10 minutes of me just looking at random bags and her following me around and not actually contributing anything. My partner walks in and he comes and stands next to me. And I kid you not, her whole attitude and demeanor just changes. All of a sudden, she sees this like white man standing next to me and she is asking like, oh, you wanted to see that bag? I can go in the back and grab it for you. Oh yeah, like you had asked earlier about this bag, like it comes in these 3 colors. Do you want to see it? She went from like giving no answers to having all the answers all of a sudden. Like, it was a complete 180. In my mind, I was like, are you serious? I was so turned off. A part of me was just like, homie, stay with that energy that you had for me while my man is here. Just because you think that now there's a man, specifically a white man next to me, you're definitely going to make a sale is not cute. Stay with that same energy. You're giving me nothing before, keep giving me nothing. She was just like, just a whole different person while my partner was there. And I just wanted it to end. I was like, oh, actually, I'm here for the Fendi First. Do you guys have it? Just very stern, very, like, I was polite, but I was just like, straight to business because it was just such an ick. It just gave me the ick. She's like, oh, actually, we don't have it. I can order it for you and it'll come from a different store in a couple of days. I was like, yeah, let's do that. We go to the counter. We are doing like the payment. She's like, oh, do you have an account with us? I was like, yes. She looks me up and then she processes everything and she's like, oh, the final price will be, I don't remember. It was like 2,000 something, almost 3,000. And then she's like, how would you like to pay? And she looks at my partner and then my partner looks at her. And then I look at my partner and then I look at her. And my partner just says, I'm actually not the one buying the bag, she is. And I was like, yeah. And had my card in my hand, ready to pay. Like, if I was not in love with that bag as much as I was in love with it, I would have left it and just been like, yeah, never mind. The shock on this woman's face that, oh, I'm paying for the bag, was crazy. It was so apparent that she had already made up her mind about what kind of person I am. Like, oh, this black girl's walking into the store and she's not gonna buy anything, she's wasting my time. Then she sees this white man come in and it's like, oh, definitely, now she definitely might buy something. And then on top of it, to think that he's paying and not me, like, oh, she can't pay. Like, what? That's like weird behavior. Like, girly, like, you are being weird. Honestly, I feel like the sexism and the racism there was just to be frank, it was on full display there. I just remember feeling like, wow, this woman is low-key but high-key just judging me straight up. And she, looking at me, thinks that the only way someone like me can afford luxury is if a man buys it for me. She doesn't know what I do for work. She doesn't know how old I am. She just sees that I look young and I'm black. Stop it. Looking back on it, it's bias. It's a total bias. And it's like racial profiling, it's sexism, it's all of them. It's all the isms at this point. Like, woman, we're buying bags, clothes, and shoes. It's not that serious. Some essays create these profiles for people just by looking at them, and they decide if they are worthy customers or not. And these moments hurt because they reinforce this idea that certain people don't look like they belong in luxury spaces, and that's wild. The woman in Fendi, like, I was ready to buy multiple bags. She could have easily convinced me, but like, because of her bias, she like fumbled the bag. She really did. Story 3 is actually a continuation of the first Hermès experience, but this time it's Hermès in San Francisco. After I got home from my trip to Las Vegas, I had that like orange little bag in my room, and every time I looked at it, I was just so mad. I was like, yeah, I'm 100% returning this. One weekend, I'm like, let's just do it. Let's return it. And I've never been to the Hermès in San Francisco either. So I was just like, okay, mentally preparing myself for what type of BS I will face. I went to the Hermès, and to my surprise, I got an essay, lovely black woman who was around my age. And I had explained to her, I was like, hey, I bought this in Las Vegas. It was a horrible experience, and I want to either like return it or exchange it. And she was like, what happened? I told her, and she was like, oh, what's her name? We need to report her. And I didn't catch that other woman's name, unfortunately, but she's like, how about this? I'll bring out the trays of tuiles that we have. Maybe something will, spark joy, and you might want to exchange it. Let me grab the 2 trays and I'll be right back. I was like, okay, fine. Which especially because like she was so kind, and it was like literally the complete opposite of my Las Vegas experience. So she comes out with the 2 trays, and they had like so many tuiles, so many different patterns and colors and stuff like that. And she was like, how about you look at these? There's a 3rd tray floating around somewhere. I'm gonna go look for it. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm looking through the tray, and I'm like seeing all these beautiful tuiles, and I'm like, oh my God, this is cute, and this is cute. And like, it's actually becoming fun again, which was what I thought my first experience would have been. And so I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna exchange it, because like my essay is really nice. They actually have a lot of options, and I'm not forcing myself to buy something. I actually am just liking what they have. I'm minding my business, looking at these tuiles, and from behind me, I hear a woman speaking in my direction, and she says, do you have this in any other colors? And I turn around, and it's this white woman. She had to be like late 40s. And she's like, hi, do you have this in any other colors? And I look at her and I'm like, I don't work here. I don't work here, lady. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. You were looking at the tuiles, and I thought you were putting them away because you had the tray and you were looking at them. And I was like, no, I'm just shopping. But yeah, I'm just looking at tuiles. Like, yeah, it was just so awkward because one, all the Hermès sales associates wear uniforms, and I was not in an Hermès uniform. I was in a regular blue dress or something like that looked nothing like the uniforms. Now it's just like me and this woman. She's staring at me, I'm staring at her, and it's just awkward. In situations like this, I feel like there's 2 things you can do. You can continue to make it awkward, or you can try to like diffuse the situation and just like both of you move on and pretend like, yo, low key, you racially profiled me, but whatever, To be nice, I'm like, I like your skirt. And she was just wearing this like regular like black and white skirt with a pattern. Face lights up, and she's like, oh, really? Thank you so much. Like, I love this skirt. I got it in Africa. And she's like, I love Africa. I love Nigeria. I love Ghana. I like have been to Africa so many times. I love the African people. And I'm like looking at her, eyes wide open. Oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? I tried to diffuse the situation, and I've just made it worse. And I'm so uncomfortable. I am looking around to see if I can get anybody's attention to like help me get out of this, because this woman is going on about how she loves Africa. And I see behind her, she actually has her essay right behind her. And I make eye contact with this essay, and this essay is like standing there. He's just this like white man in his late 30s or late 20s, early 30s. And I'm making eye contact with him like, help, help. And he looks at me and he's like, you got me messed up. Literally, homie goes, you're her essay. You, one, let her ask me, do I work here? Two, now I'm like looking at you visibly uncomfortable, and you shrug your shoulders that you can't help me in this situation. She's your client. I'm also a client. What? It was just wild. And I just was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna have to get myself out of this situation. I just remember telling her, I'm like, I've never been to Africa. I'm from the Caribbean. So I'm gonna get back to shopping. I just needed to like shut her up. I grabbed a Twilly and I saw my essay coming back, and I was like, oh, hi. And I went to her and just removed myself from the situation. And I told my essay right away. I was like, hey, this is what happened. And she's like, customers can be so racist. And I'm like, yeah, they can. And I was like, and the essay just didn't do anything. And he just shrugged. And she's like, just shaking her head like, of course he just shrugged. And I was just like, this means this is not the first time that this has happened, and this won't be the last time that something like this has happened. I think speaking about it and thinking back to it, I'm like, that was so messed up. That was so messed up. One, I'm not dressed like a sales associate, but because I'm Black, you just automatically assume I work there. Two, I compliment you to try to diffuse the situation, and you turn that compliment into, oh, I racially profiled you, but I have Black friends. I've been to Africa. I love Africa. The African people are so, it's like, girl, just quit. I'm gonna leave this question to you guys. What should the essay have done? Like that woman's essay have done? Because I think he didn't do enough. Actually, he didn't do anything. He was just standing there the whole time, watching this unfold and watching this happen. And I think he could have also been shocked, like, oh my goodness, this is happening. What's happening? Like, what do I do? My essay, she like asked me like, are you okay? I'm so sorry that this has happened. And I think she handled the situation the best that she could. But the other essay, I think he should have done a better job at, number one, reining his customer in. You let her go on at my expense, and that's not cool. That's like low-key saying that like her money matters more than mine if we're gonna go there. Or like she has the right to be wilding in the store and ruining other people's experiences, and you guys are okay with that. Yeah. Looking back and like reflecting, stores need to have better training for all their teams on how to protect shoppers. And I mean all shoppers. They need cultural sensitivity training, and they need training on de-escalating issues between customers. I don't know if luxury stores offer that, but I can see that being such a big benefit for everyone involved. In all these instances, luxury isn't about money. It's about power, perception, and access. And essays and brands have power, and if they don't perceive you to be worthy, then they won't give you access. And that is wild, especially if your goal is to sell things. And personally, I'm not gonna beg someone for access. Luxury bags and fashion is supposed to be fun, but it's not my whole world. Like if I have a bad experience, I'm just not going back to that store. If you've ever felt unwanted or like you don't belong in a store, you are definitely not alone. It really shows why luxury is in its flop era. Yes, people aren't buying as much because of the ridiculous prices and like the poor quality, but also the state of the economy and the fact that we are potentially going into a recession. Customers are being more picky about how they want to spend their hard-earned dollars, and no one wants to spend their hard-earned dollars in a place that makes them feel horrible about themselves or makes them feel isolated and like they do not belong. And people should be picky. According to Fortune magazine, since 2019, there's been a high price increase across luxury without corresponding increase in innovation, service, quality, or appeal that a luxury brand should provide. This year, that really hit consumers, and we felt the full impact. These brands have been increasing their prices, decreasing their quality, and it shows loyalty is not what it used to be anymore. Nowadays, people are choosing other types of luxuries to spend money on, like experiences, so like traveling and dinners and stuff like that. And when people are being a little bit more picky about where to spend their money, they're going to spend their money where they have good memories or good experiences. They're not going to want to spend their money in places that left them feeling horrible about themselves. Okay, that's it for me. Let's normalize calling out these experiences. Drop your stories in the comments. I want to hear from you. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you all next time. Bye. Lucy says bye. Bye.